When I was freshman in college, I launched my first real business. I had an idea, had a little bit of money saved up, but I had absolutely no experience. But the process taught me a lot. It actually led me to an unexpected opportunity to work with a future NFL draft pick, and I'll give you a hint, he won Defensive Rookie of the Year. In this video, I'm going to take you through the full story, where the idea came from, how I managed the costs and worked on a tight budget as a college kid, the challenges I ran into, the wins along the way, and what I'd do differently if I had the chance to do it again. Something they don't really tell you about college is the amount of free time you have, especially as a freshman. I wasn't really in any clubs or anything. I didn't have a job, and outside of school work, my days were pretty much filled with nothing. Especially living in the dorms, I was getting cabin fever really quickly, and I found myself constantly looking for something productive to do. If you've made your way to this side of YouTube, you've probably heard of drop shipping, but if not, basically it's a business model where you buy cheap stuff from overseas, and then you ship it to the United States at an upcharge, and then you just collect profit. You're just the middle guy. I saw a bunch of YouTube gurus, Bia Heza. He's basically the main guy. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I'll put pictures up somewhere of them, over here. They were all talking about how they made millions of dollars with like no work, and I was like, this is awesome. So I gave it a shot, and surprise, it doesn't work as easily as I thought it would. So yeah, kind of a failure. But one fateful day, everything changed. So I go to school at West Virginia University. Back in the day, they were kind of known for burning couches.
Mountaineer fans, they've got a reputation for setting couches on fire.
When my uncle found out that I was coming to West Virginia, he made me a pretty cool t-shirt. I actually have it right here. I found it in my closet the other day. So I don't know if you can read it, but basically a burning couch is a happy couch. So he made me that shirt, and I was like, you know what? I'll wear it to class one day. In the 2 hours that I was out of the house that day, 4 people asked me where I got it from, and I just told them my uncle made it. But that's when the light bulb went off on my head. I wanted to find a way to sell these shirts to people. I didn't want to have to deal with buying like a press and like 500 shirts because I didn't know if people were going to even buy them. So I had to find a way around that because I didn't have the money to be spending on the startup cost of this business that might not even work. So I took my limited knowledge of drop shipping that I watched on YouTube, and I took this idea and I brought it back to Shopify. And sure enough, there's an app on Shopify called Printify where if you upload a PNG of whatever you want to put on a shirt, it's basically just drop shipping shirts. You can take your design, put it on a shirt, attach it to your store, and then whenever somebody buys it from your store, it'll just ship it right to them, and you don't have to pay anything. So once I found out that this was possible, I spent the next couple hours setting up probably the most disgusting looking store ever. I'm surprised anybody bought anything because it honestly looked like I was just gonna scam you. I made like a nice little logo for the store. It was minimalistic and stuff. I got the design of the t-shirt from my uncle. I pasted that into Printify and then posted it on my Shopify store, and we launched. Yeah, I didn't sell anything. Before I actually opened the store, I posted something on the public university Snapchat story, just try and gauge interest to see if this was even worth putting like a couple hours into. And a lot of people seemed to like it, but nobody wanted to put their money where their mouth was. But I wasn't ready to give up. Felt like maybe I needed to add different designs to give people options. Maybe something would stand out with the consumer more, really dig deep into my fashion skills. And I found this free Photoshop alternative on Reddit called Photopea. I'll link it down below if anybody wants to use it. And that's where I just started cranking out designs. I was terrible at Photoshop. That was like my first time ever using it for more than like 15 minutes on a school project. I created an Instagram account where I just spam followed as many people from the school as I could to hopefully get them to just follow me back. Surprisingly, it worked pretty well. I got up to like 500 followers at my peak, and I would just go for like hours at a time and just spam follow people. The first few sales started coming in, it hit like crack, and after all my expenses, month 1, I made $48.16. It was well below minimum wage, but I look at it as like a learning experience more than anything. Plus, my Photoshop skills were starting to get a little better. Over the next few months, I was grinding to grow my Instagram page. I would post about WVU sports, random stuff going on campus, just anything that related to it or related to West Virginia. The account slowly started to grow more and more. With the tiny amount of clout I had, it was not turning into sales at all. I had to find a way to just translate what I had ad into people that wanted to buy my t-shirts. And then out of nowhere, I got this DM from the WVU Archery Club, and they wanted some shirts made for their club. This was my way out. And I mocked up a couple designs for them, and they actually liked them. I thought they were pretty good too. And they ended up putting in like a big bulk order for everybody that was in their club. I made a little over $200. I think it was like 211, but only like 50 of it was actual profit. The margins on this thing were terrible. I'm not gonna lie. It would cost, after shipping, like $12 to print the shirt, and I would only charge like 20 or something. So the margins were pretty bad, but it was like I put nothing into it except time. So at the time, it felt like a big deal. That kind of gave me the idea to just keep reaching out to other clubs. I started reaching out. I wanted to become the go-to guy for clubs to get all their merch. Things were starting to feel like they might take off, until I got this lovely email from, I don't even know who, but they told me I couldn't do that anymore. I think you have to be like an approved vendor to be able to sell to clubs at the school, which I didn't know at the time, but you know, I made $50 and I didn't get in trouble, so it was okay. However, this did kind of shut down the whole being the guy that the people go to for the club merch idea, but I still wanted to keep going. That gave me like just enough motivation to not want to just give up entirely. I kind of realized like growing my own following from scratch was pretty tough, so why not mooch off of people who already have them? So this is when I started thinking about like NIL. It really started to pop off in like 2022. And a lot of the athletes were just doing any type of cash grab they could to like grow their personal brands. And a lot of them didn't really have merchandise. So I figured, hey, I'd reach out to some of them, see if anybody wanted to just do it with me. So I created this lovely little message that I would just copy and paste, and I would just spend hours just cold DMing any athlete I could think of. I went on the email database of the college and got every athlete to email, and I emailed them, like cold emailed, see if they wanted to do anything. Most of the time I got nothing. A few people replied, and then even fewer stuck around for a conversation. And at the end of the day, nobody really gave me a chance, except for one guy. West Virginia legend Devin Carter. At the time, he had just transferred from NC State to West Virginia, and he was the only person who replied and actually gave me a shot. So shout out to Devin. His agency reached out to me. We set up a call, and looking back now, I had absolutely no clue what I was doing, but I was like, hey, let's just give it a shot. I ended up on a Zoom with the woman who managed all of his business stuff directly. She was like a college-age girl from Florida State, and her boss was named Ed. And I think this Ed guy used to be Antonio Brown's agent, because he was like name-dropping Adam Schefter on me. He was like, yeah, we're good friends. So, you know, I think he was a big deal. And he told me to send over like a contract with my proposal for how this partnership would work. And I had no idea what I was doing. ChatGPT really wasn't a thing yet. So I just like found a contract template, and I tried to rewrite it into a way that would make sense for this whole thing. And it was terrible. Like, I cringe at the thought of sending that to somebody now, but I sent it. Yeah, they ghosted me, which honestly, like, fair play. I had no idea what I was doing, but you know, they say shoot for the stars, and if you miss, you'll end up on the moon. And that's pretty dang good. So after that, I sold a few more shirts, one to my grandma, one to my friend from home, one to this random kid who I saw out one night wearing it. So that was actually really cool. But yeah, my dream of becoming the next fashion designer was all but over. But there was one last piece of merch that I hadn't sold yet. So as my freshman year was winding down, I pretty much thrown in the towel. I'd accepted the fact that this wasn't the next big thing, but it was a great experience overall, like a great learning experience. I stopped posting on Instagram. I stopped designing new stuff. Shopify kept charging me like $30 a month to keep my store, and there was absolutely no way I was going to be able to make that up. But then out of nowhere, I get this text from the woman from Florida State who was Devin's agent. I thought she had ghosted me. I forgot I had her number, but she texted me, and she asked if I could make custom stickers for one of her other players. This guy from Florida State, and if you know ball, you already know who I'm talking about. But at that point, I was so done with Photoshop. I hated the look of it, and I was just ready to give up and say nothing. But then she name dropped Jared Verse. I mean, he was well known, but he wasn't defensive rookie of the year LA Rams Jared Verse yet. He was like mocked in the first round of the NFL draft or something, but like he wasn't like a guy that I knew off the top of my head. But I looked him up. I was like, holy crap, this dude is like actually good. No offense to Devin, you were great, man. Just like that, I was back in. I was having visions of like him and I walking down the red carpet, being business partners, just making millions when he was in the NFL. And like I thought this was gonna be it. This is my. I'm not even gonna finish school. This is my way out. But it didn't really work like that. She wanted me to create this set of stickers, so she would like post it around campus. I think was her vision for it, to kind of drum up hype for his season or like an upcoming merch drop or whatever. But point being, I sold her one set of stickers, and that was it. I think I made like 20 bucks off it. It's a cool story to tell though, nonetheless. I thought they turned out pretty good. I mean, not bad. Not bad. But looking back, I think it was from November to April, I made $60 profit and just under $1,000 in revenue. That was pretty rough numbers, but honestly, I think it was worth it. I see it as like paying my dues, you know? I made no money at all. If you actually average it out to an hourly wage, it was pennies. But I learned a lot. And plus, I get to tell people I technically made merch for the 2024 NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. If people ask me to elaborate, it's going to get lame, but I can just leave it at that, and it sounds sick. By the way, Quinyon Mitchell was still robbed. He should have won, but it makes my story cooler, so it's okay. And it was belt to ass both times we played. Saquon owns them. Shout out to Saquon, he's in there somewhere. But at the end of the day, it all comes back to the main lesson. If you're ever thinking about starting something, just remember it won't be easy. The first time you ever do something will probably suck, but you have to go through it. You cannot start anything and expect it to be amazing right away. That's just not how it works. But it's better to just jump in and have something suck than try and micromanage it until it's perfect to launch, because that's never going to happen. You learn a whole lot more from failing at something than trying to learn your way into making it perfect. You just have to get through that rough patch, and it's all preparation for when whatever you find is your thing eventually takes off. Every step teaches you something new, and those failures are all a part of the process. Now let me take my preacher cap off. Thank you for watching, and there will be more to come.